Welcome to Connections and Conversations, an Advocacy Arena podcast, working to increase civic engagement and strengthen our communities. Well, hello. I am thrilled to be here today in this episode with a wonderful gentleman that I can't wait to just learn more about and have you get to know, because he is the epitome of the example of someone who is contributing to his community and understands the importance of participation in your community and how important it is to try to create healthy, thriving communities. So let's dig right in. I want you to meet Dr. Leonard. Is it Moore?
So that is one of my handles.
Okay.
Leonard Morse, I pay tribute to. He is one of the founders of my fraternity that I'm a member of. My friends and family call me Ty, and I always put the handle on it, Dr. Ty, because of the work that I do and because I put in a lot of work to earn that title.
Absolutely.
So everyone calls me Dr. Ty. That's cool.
All right. So the work that you do is centered around education, and it is something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is kind of how we connected in social media circles. And I know that is your passion. I know that is your area of work. Would you tell us a little bit about what you're doing in that field right now?
Sure. Well, first, let me say thank you for having me on and giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about what I do, both professionally and personally. And so, to your question, I am what we call a counselor educator. I train mental health counselors, addictions counselors, school counselors. I'm also a practitioner in that I've worked in schools and I've worked in an agency setting, and now I'm doing more solo work, working as a contracted therapist, primarily working with children and adolescents and families and so forth. I have a wealth of experience working in schools, though, across 3 different states, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Ohio, and then working in various mental health settings at the private practice level, state agency level, that sort of work. So that's the work that I've been done. It's all people-oriented work, helping people.
Absolutely. And people make up the community.
Yes.
And what would you say is the best part of what you do, what you enjoy most about what you do?
Oh, that's an easy question. So the best part about it is seeing people thrive within their own unique ways. If I can assist, or if I can help, or if I can show, if I can guide, if I can mentor, coach someone to make one step forward towards them reaching their own personal and professional goals, and that is what I get satisfaction from. It literally is, especially working with our kids.
Yes.
To see our children get it, to see them be enthused and motivated by something by chance that I might have said or done or shown them, that makes it all worthwhile.
So empowering people, especially our youth.
Yes.
And that is so admirable and so important. And in that work, as with everything, there are difficult, challenging aspects. What would you say is the challenging aspect of the work that you do?
Sometimes it's going to vary from community to community, but overall, the most challenging aspects would be getting buy-in from our society as a whole, our community as a country. Unfortunately, there are some who don't value assisting other people, other humans, in working to achieve those goals that they've set for themselves in their lives. And I think that has been the biggest challenge. Sometimes not only not valuing it, but actually throwing up obstacles in the way of those of us who are trying to help other people to help themselves.
Yes.
That's probably the biggest challenge. And it primarily manifests, what I found here recently, through misinformation, disinformation, all of those different areas. And it is really making our job tough. It really is.
I can see that because the climate in the country has certainly changed. And what you do as far as you said, really trying to reach people and help them reach their potential. And a lot of people are hurting in many ways. And humanity, I feel, also is at this moment under attack.
Yes.
So to be able to help to reinforce people's belief in themselves and their ability to rise above whatever it is that they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about how you got to where you are today. Like, what was your kind of educational journey?
Sure. My educational journey began within my community. It began with my family members. My parents are, notice how I coined this, my parents are survivors of Jim Crow.
Okay.
My grandparents, my extended family, and my mentors in my community all poured into me at a very young age. At the time, I didn't know it, but later on, I would be able to draw upon the things that they poured into me to pursue more formal education.
Mm-hmm.
My formal education, it started at an HBCU. At Tuskegee University, yes.
I see that sign up there behind you. Okay.
Yes. What you see behind me, of course, is homage to the Tuskegee Airmen because, and people don't believe me when I say this, I was in the second grade when I decided I wanted to be a pilot in the United States Air Force. And from that point forward, it was my life's goal to do so all the way through to college, where I was a part of the Air Force ROTC program and was an engineering major and was on my way to fly military jets. That's what I wanted to do.
Ready to go.
Ready to go, right? Until an unfortunate event occurred, the physical. And this physician, he placed me across the room and he put a chart on the wall and he said, read that bottom.
Okay.
He said, read the bottom line, and I could not do it. And at that time, you had to have 20/20 vision uncorrected in order to be eligible to do some of the things that I wanted to do. I was crushed.
I'm sure.
But I was not dispirited. And even though I'm in a career field now that is almost 180 degrees from flying military aircraft, these guys inspired me to be where I am currently. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you attended Tuskegee. And part of that college experience entailed joining a fraternity. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. And you'll have to excuse my exuberance as I introduce my fraternity.
Don't hold back. I know the joy.
But I am a proud member.
I'm sorry. Before you tell that story, I just wanted to say that was another thing that you and I connected on is both being veterans.
Veterans, yes, absolutely. I did end up serving in the military as another part of my branch on my life's journey. I served enlisted in the Air Force instead.
Okay.
But with regards to my fraternity, I am a member of the fraternity that surmises all that came before them and all that came after and shall come after, and that is Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, where I've been a member for now about 20 plus some odd years. There are, of course, the surface level things, the pride, the friendly competition with other member organizations of the Panhellenic Council.
Mm-hmm.
But the fraternity in itself, again, gave me things that I am forever indebted to.
Okay.
A sense of brotherhood that I could not gain in the area where I grew up in rural Alabama. A dedication to service that was instilled within my own community and family, but that was really expanded upon as a member of this particular fraternity. And so those pieces, that brotherhood and that service piece, are a part of who I am. And of course, scholarship, which I took quite literally when my grandmother, who was able to acquire a 6th grade education as a little boy, told me, get all the education that you can. And I took that quite literally. And that's what pushed me on to pursue doctoral studies.
Absolutely. Grandma knew knowledge is power.
She knew it. She knew it. Having a huge affinity for our elders, I took every word that I hung on every word that she said and still live by them, even today.
Yeah. And now your fraternity, I know that it instilled those things in you, service.
Yes.
But it also has a very rich history where we also connect again, because I have kind of my own personal, I guess, hero who is an icon of the civil rights movement for my own personal reasons and his connections to my community. And that is, tell us about it.
Yes, and I know exactly who you're referring to. The late, great John Lewis.
Yes.
Who epitomizes service and sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Who epitomizes citizenship and patriotism in ways that I believe even some of the founders don't live up to. Now that's a bold statement, but I'll stand by it. Yes. But yes, from his being the co-founder of SNCC to his work, of course, leading marchers from Selma to Montgomery and being physically assaulted and attacked there, to his being on the stage at the March on Washington, are just a few of the things that John Lewis did, not only for the Black American community, but for this country. And for that, I am eternally grateful. He is one of my heroes, not only just because he's a fraternity member, of course, but because of the individual that he was.
For me, that was it. And I was just thrilled to know that, he was a member of your fraternity. Again, like I said, just another connection for us. And, we've had a lot of conversations, and I think most of the time we really get into the conversations around education, the assault that is going on with education now. And I know that you do things in the community, and you were telling me a story recently about an experience that you had in your community. Do you recall?
There've been so many.
Well, just tell me one, because I think that it's important to, like I said, for people to kind of see examples of how this advocacy and work in the community unfolds, what it looks like.
Sure. So I've recently relocated to a more of a rural community here in the state of Georgia. And since being here, I've tried to immerse myself within the goings on of the community. And as such, was able to quickly identify some areas of need. And one of those needs that we've been able to fill was to provide mentorship to some of our youth here in the area, working directly with individuals from the local barbershops.
Another mainstay of the community.
Yeah, it still is in so many ways. Now, the barbershops are a little bit different than when I grew up. It's old school barbershops when I was coming up.
Right.
And so they have a different flair. And so ever want to continue evolving, I've had to evolve culturally in order to build relationships to address the needs here within our community. And so in working with individuals at our local barbershop that I take my two boys to, we've built relationships with those folks and have been able to create a mentoring program that provides not only guidance for primarily Black boys, but also provides them with career coaching. And also the most important piece is that mentorship. And we use the word mentorship a lot, right?
Yes.
But mentorship really means that you are invested in the person that you're mentoring as much as you're invested in yourself. And once I was able to explain that to them, people were like, I get it. And so we've been able to see some significant moves with regards to the infrastructure that was already in place here in the community, and then my being able to add a cherry on top of the sundae, so to speak, with my little bit of knowledge and energy that I bring to the table. So those are just some of the things. One of the things we've got going now is we call it Get In, right?
Yes.
And we want individuals who have been checked out of the civic process of voting to get in. And one of the things I'm doing is we're providing information sessions on, it'll be today, as a matter of fact, where I go in with my projectors and I host conversations in the barbershop to inform the folks who frequent it about the issues that they need to be voting on.
I love it. I mean, that is just an expansion of Advocacy Arena's mission,
Exactly.
To increase civic engagement. All right. Let's talk about it.
Sure. Exactly. And again, what I found was I was a poll worker during the last election, and I noticed some trends, and one of the trends was very disturbing. And that was a particular age group within our community just was not showing up. Or if they were showing up, they were showing up with pieces of information that either were incomplete or were completely wrong. And I said, we have an issue here.
Right.
We need to highlight the issues and then help individuals to connect how those issues impact them directly or their loved ones.
Ah, yes.
And that is our mission right now. And we're going to be doing it until we address the immediate and long-term issues, not only of the community, but of the country as well.
Right. Because, my thought is that, and the reason that I wanted to focus on community, because my thinking is that communities are just made up of people. And our country is just made up of a million little communities.
Mm-hmm.
And when we really just kind of focus on that community of which we are a part, where there is immediate impact and effect taking place, that's how we kind of build a stronger, more healthy, thriving country for all of us,
Absolutely.
And it's an educational process.
Which is why what we're seeing done to education right now is of so much concern. Our country is made up of each, as you stated, small community, no matter how small it is, right? That then joins together to make larger communities and towns and cities and so forth. And at the core of those communities is what they know, is the education piece, which is why another advocacy piece is education and working to ensure that all aspects, in speaking about the subject of history, all aspects of the history of this country are being taught. And that's going to be the next phase of our advocacy work, is during the summer, is to offer those lessons of history that are continuously being whitewashed out or absolutely ignored altogether. We're going to host those at the barbershop as well.
Awesome.
I'm not the most creative guy, so I'm trying to find ways to present information or find people to present information that will connect to the culture of the young folks that we have today. And that's what we're working on now, getting ready for summer.
I love it. I love it. And is there anything, any ask that you have of us in any way that we could help you meet those goals?
Oh, wow. For those who might be listening to this exchange, I think the best thing that we can do is to work within our own individual communities, not necessarily doing what I'm doing, but whatever the needs are in your communities, no matter how small, there's something that can be done, right? Whether we start within our own homes and reach out to our churches and community organizations and then on to the civics piece, our city council members, there's something that can be done. And for me, that energy is infectious. And I think
contagious. It really is.
It's contagious, yes. And once it catches fire, I think that'll help us even here, because then we can talk about, well, they're doing X, Y, and Z over here, or in California they're doing this, and in Wisconsin they're doing this, and
yes,
that is what really helps to keep my fire lit. If that makes sense. I've always got a fire burning.
Absolutely. You're like me, got a lot of irons in the fire.
A lot of irons in the fire, yes.
Well, this has been such a pleasure to hang out and talk to you. And before, we kind of wind things up, I just want you just kind of whatever it is. I know you have hosted audio conversation spaces on social media platforms to inform people, engage people. So here you have a few minutes, you have a platform. I know you've had conversations about Carter G. Woodson,
yes,
and just whatever that you would just like to have a wider audience for. Here you go.
I think for me, as you reference Carter G. Woodson, and he talks about the miseducation, the central theme there is education, right? And for me, education, I think, would be the stickler for today.
Yes.
In light of what's going on with regards to legislation being passed across the country in various states under the notion of school choice. while it sounds great, everyone should have choices. What's being passed in across state legislatures is hardly that of choice. It's more of a systematic defunding of public education and the rerouting of funds to private institutions, many of whom are institutions that are relics of Jim Crow. They're segregation academies, and they're not inclusive, we'll put it that way. And so what happens is that will hurt students who are already vulnerable as opposed to helping them. And what I would like is for those who are listening now is to get informed about any quote unquote school choice efforts in your local community, in your state, to find out what is being pushed. And if what is being pushed is already done, like here in the state of Georgia, how can you use what has been set through legislation to counterbalance the erosion that's taking place in various aspects of education?
Okay.
And so an example of that would be like right now, I'm writing a homeschool curriculum specific for Black children. With that, I will be able to tap into, in a limited way, some of the funding that this state allows for homeschoolers. And so we couldn't stop the legislation, so now we have to use it in a way that we can build upon.
Yes.
The goal is to start the homeschool and establish a micro school that we can then qualify for those voucher funds. That way we are educating those who want to be educated fully, and that way we are taking back the responsibility of educating our children by doing it ourselves also.
I love it. Well, I am really going to be watching, and if there's any way that I can help in that endeavor, because as you said, we have the same situation here, of course, in Tennessee, another thing that we talk about. And, sometimes when you are not in the position to stop things, then you have to figure out how to work within that thing to still get your needs met. And when it comes to education, we want our children to be fully educated. We want all American history taught, because being a child of the South and of segregation, I understand what happened with the lost cause narrative and, the whitewashing of our education. And you can see the unfortunate effects on our society. And it's like a kind of another period of that same thing being done right now. And it's like, we've been here before. So, I just did an episode around social justice, and I wrote an article on some of the heroes and Whitney Young, like social workers and also the labor movement people and how that intersection occurs. And, Whitney Young was one of those who said it's important to be at the table, to work within the system. And we grew up knowing that. And so that's another reason why also, as passionate as education is, my desire to get people civically engaged, to get them informed, which is a form of education.
It is.
Because I talk a lot in the community about an uneducated populace being very easy to control and to manipulate, which for me is why they want to go after it,
Oh, absolutely. That is exactly why.
All right. Well, we have been chatting it up here. I have loved it. I feel like we covered a lot. If there's any final thoughts or words you'd like to share, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do so. But if not, I think we'll wrap it up here, and because we could go on, and I look forward to another episode later.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me. The only thing I will end with is another fraternity brother who wrote the poem Lift Every Voice and Sing, James Weldon Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And to know that no matter the challenges ahead, that particular hymn is known as the Black National Anthem in many spaces within our community. When I hear those first couple of chords ring, I get fired up, Miss D. And so I'll end with Lift Every Voice and Sing till earth and heaven ring.
All right, folks.
Be motivated, stay motivated, do something. Good trouble.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. And we'll just wrap it up here. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you for listening to Connections and Conversations. This is one of many wonderful interviews that we bring to you to help connect you to a larger community of advocates and change makers across the country. You'll get a glimpse into the various ways people are making an impact in their communities. My hope is that it will inspire you to get engaged in some small way as well. We can't all do everything, but at this moment in history, we can all do something. What are you doing? One of the things you can do is to continue to listen, subscribe, and share this Advocacy Arena podcast. You can also join and support the growing grassroots Advocacy Arena community in other ways. Join our weekly live chats hosted on Spoutable every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe to our Substack to get great articles on important topics and exclusive access to extended interview conversations. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We've got some exciting programming lined up. And keep listening to our regular podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, subscribe and give us that all-important 5-star review.